initially we started this discussion with Enea, with Martina and Karin, who will also join us. For now, it's Enea and Martina in the space, and we discussed that we maybe should come together and show what is happening here in Hub's platform, because lots of interesting art projects, streams, meetups, lectures is happening. And I hope we will just start with some and list some, and guys could also share their experience about how they manage like several interesting spaces, and we will ask them, and then in an hour there will be even a special performance which will be in a dome area created by Enea too. Martina and Enea, can you maybe tell a little bit about yourself? Martina, can you start and tell and maybe show some project with?
Sure.
Yeah.
You want me to share my screen? Okay. Well, hi everyone. That it's here already. So I'm Martina. I'm an artist. I'm based in Vienna. I'm also a teacher. I'm currently an assistant in the University of Applied Art in Vienna, the Department of Transmedial Art. And yeah, since the lockdown, I started to get into Mozilla Hubs thanks to the little art community, actually not so little, the big art community that is on Facebook. I got to know about this platform, and I just fall in love immensely, and I started to just get to know it and create some spaces here, and then I just started to teach it to my students, and I'm really looking forward to see what they are creating. Hopefully soon I can share their spaces as well with all of you guys. Yeah. And no, I'm really excited that we are here doing this tour.
Martina, do you think that someone from the students are here?
Sorry?
Do you think that someone from your students are here? Because I can see that someone with...
that's a good question.
With the nickname Vienna.
I have no idea.
Olivia, VR,
hello.
Vienna, hey.
No, I'm not in VR.
Oh.
Okay.
Austrians,
hi.
Of course, Austrians are here.
Okay, that's cool.
Here I'm too from Austria.
Oh, that's great.
Hi.
Maybe.
Welcome. Austria representing.
Yeah, guys, maybe you could also tell from what countries are you. What more countries do we have here? Andreas?
Let's type in chat the countries.
Austria, Ukraine, Italy, Netherlands, and Argentina. Yeah,
wow.
it is.
Argentina, Italy, Ukraine, yeah.
Austria, Ukraine.
Austria, of course, yeah. That's great.
It's amazing. I'm loving this.
Martina, I can see that there are more people from Vienna, so I can see that maybe or your students or maybe community or fan of your art are also.
I mean, there is a rather big community here in Vienna for like XR, yeah. And I think like I was sharing the event around on my Facebook, so I'm happy to see that some got it and they're here with us today. Or tonight actually.
That's
so this great. Is really nice.
And in the end, then...
yeah, I think like.
Mm-hmm. Please proceed.
Sorry, my audio was glitching again. No, I was just saying I think we are gonna hop at one point maybe in my room. So then when we are there, I think it's gonna be a bit easier for me to talk about the work.
But Enea, please, can you tell a little bit about yourself and about this space?
Okay, with pleasure. So, as you can see, we are here at the Algo 24/7, and it's a vertical virtual reality museum where we archive the best performances coming from stemming from an event, a virtual event that we arranged with Karen from Margoriti and Edo from Margoriti, that we run each Monday night, and it's at a club called The Circle. So every Monday night we run this live coding and digital art, virtual art events that allow us to network and keep the community together.
Who want to join us, just jump into the next space. It's just possible if you hover the portal and then tap on visit room. So go ahead, please do, and we will join you there. Because we just want to check that you all go in there. So please come to the portal and tap on the visit room. Let's just
going into a room. And even though it can be very cyberpunk or solar punk or any aesthetic, in this case, I think that this room is it's like taking advantage of the virtual reality environment. And I really appreciate that. I think that this is one very important point to research, to artistic, to make artistic research.
Yeah,
so thank you for.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I was really trying to kind of keep my own aesthetic. When I create VR, I always focus on the entities that you can interact or look at more than the space around it. So the idea behind having hands here was to create like basically a very open space that you can just experience by flying around in different ways, and just can be very meditative if you're alone, and can be also very funny when you are with a lot of people. So it has all these, I think, different levels of experience in the room, depending on how you are with how many people. I love when the people start to like create screenshots, and it's like hands over hands over hands, and there is like this, the sculpture become like 2D, but at the same time, it becomes a sculpture itself, like all this amount of screenshots being created also. So I'm really happy that you like the space, really. Thank you very much.
Enea, Martina, let's just fly a little bit further, because I can hear some other people talking in other languages here. Can you follow me somewhere here?
Yes, let's all follow.
Let's follow the head.
Let's follow the head.
Thank you, Mama. We will make a soundtrack then for this episode, maybe. Yeah. Or maybe digital wine. Yeah, Martina. So I don't know. I think I want to congratulate you with one more opening, public opening of the exhibition, because I can see lots of people flying around, and it looks so interesting and so beautiful. I think I was really enjoying the space when I first arrived here, and it was very interesting how it looks when there are more avatars, more users in the space, and it's actually so much. I don't know. It's not better, but it's so vibrant. It's so interesting to see how people are like using these spaces, different hence like a specific room for their chat, for example.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny. Yesterday, there was a friend of mine had a birthday party, and I as a gift, I gave a copy of this room where they could host the party. So it was really great to see like how people got to know the space and just use it for, meeting. And yeah, no, I really love when there are so many people in it. It changes completely the feeling of the room, but like not in a it's different. Yes. Yeah, no, Well, the low poly, I also loved it. It was not actually at the beginning, was not planned. I just, I started to put a lot of hands and then realizing that's not going to be possible in a space like Mozilla Hub.
Okay, Olivier.
So yeah, so that's basically why it became low poly. But I really love what it does to the hands. Somehow, like some of them don't even look like hands anymore. I mean, they have already this distortion of the shape. And then because of the low poly, it becomes, something a little bit more abstract, I would say. It gets, I don't know, it becomes really material. Like it has a really strong materiality for me, like the colors, the fog, the low poly. And when the people are inside, it just gets so crazy. I love this right now. I have to take some screenshots also.
We're recording so you can do more.
You know what I like to do when I'm alone in this space? It's a bit idiotic, but I just like to just fly like forward and then fly backward and just have like these hands coming towards my face and then flying away from my face. So it's really hard for me to like point one particular space, like point on the room or like on the environment, because I also am a bit lost sometimes, when I go around because it's only hands. So I don't know, I would just suggest to fly and just maybe take care not to fly away from the hands too much because there is fog. So if you end up in the whiteness, it's going to be really hard to find your way back. That's a bit, it happened. I had a friend lost in the nothingness of my room. I mean, the space is going to be open forever, or as long as, hubs exist. So for everyone, if you want to just come back and experience it on your own time, you just take this link and enjoy and enter as you please.
Yeah, and before we will be visiting Enea spaces, I just want to show maybe some other. For example, I really liked this 3D labyrinth. Sorry, I just by mistake I tapped on it and I traveled there. Sorry. One more try.
Olivier, wo bist du?
So
super. Okay. So I'm just gonna wait that people will just go there, and I'm gonna join you in a couple of minutes.
Martina, can you pin this teleport
Oh yes, sure.
for some time, and then we can remove it.
Ich glaube, der Olivier ist da eben schon drin.
Pin. Done.
Let's go to
Ist Olivier hier?
Just follow the head.
Ich bin jetzt in VR.
Hallo.
Hello.
Are you German?
I am not.
Oh no, you're Italy.
Hey, and now we're here.
Thank you for setting all this up.
Papa, weißt du, wo Olivier ist?
Hey, Martina.
Ah, super. Sehr gut.
Hello, Carrie.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah. So,
Hi, Nikita. Sorry, I think I was on top of you, so I couldn't see you. I heard you, but I was like,
no,
where?
I think that there could be an issue. I think maybe in this space there are different spawn points.
Wow,
And maybe...
Oh, I see.
Yes,
wait.
I think so.
There is a trick for the audio, like to be stereo instead of spatial.
Yes.
And I think you need
Just
to
press /audio mode.
Yeah, but it's just a interesting, nice place with interesting solution. How it can be like lo-fi with low quality textures in a way, but it looks perfect for this style. And it's like
absolutely.
It's not much polygons. It's stylized and it's so interesting. You have much different spaces, different interesting rooms here. Hey, Enea.
Hi.
Who did this space?
I don't know the after personally,
okay.
Room info says that it's Max Deacon VR. Okay, but it's an
Okay.
author of the Sketchfab model. So the whole level is a SketchUp model.
Okay, I see. But it really works super nicely.
Maybe Enea, can you share some other space or Cyberyacht maybe? I would just prefer
Okay.
that the dome would be the last one.
Okay, perfect. So let's keep the circle for tomorrow and
Let's go
Cyberyacht.
to the Metaverse on the yacht.
And there we go.
Okay, let's go.
Let's follow the hat.
Okay, and we're in. And we're on the Cyberyacht made by Enea.
So the different spaces with this kind of wireframe, late 80s, early 90s aesthetics that you see are part of UXR Zone. That is our own take to a decentralized metaverse based on Mozilla Hubs. So this space in particular is the Cyberyacht, where we run a particular kind of event called the Algo Cruise, which is a 12 hours kermesse, 12 hours kind of show, featuring different live coders from different continents. And tomorrow we are gonna have one of them. We run them each Saturday with the collaboration, in collaboration with Alexander Cardenas, which is a great live coder, and Maditzin Cortez, that are both part of the Top Lab Collective. There we go. Yes, that's it. That's it. And we have different spaces. So we started our tour, for example, at the Algo 24/7. And then we have the Cyberyacht, and then we opened with Karin the Dome, which is our virtual museum for virtual art.
That's great.
So what we aim to do with our spaces is to hyper-connect the virtual reality art and live coding and the demo scene communities so that we can start to converge into developing together a decentralized and federated metaverse. An effort to sort of kind of rewire the internet in a non-dystopian fashion.
That's so interesting. At last time, like knowing someone who is from Demoscene or connected to it, because I'm like really looking forward to meet more people from Demoscene. I'm a huge fan of this kind of art, and still don't really know much people in it. So, can you please tell more how it's connected with the Demoscene?
Yes, so so far, and also in a few minutes, you're gonna experience one of our, for example, live coding events. Yeah.
Yep.
And exactly in the same fashion, we are gonna start running some demo scene parties in some of our spaces. We are gonna start in 2 weeks with a demo scene event at the Circle. Yeah.
It is so great. It is so interesting.
Absolutely.
Also, the very cool thing about involving the demo scene, where basically I learned how to code and how to do 3D from there. So I come from the demo scene, yeah.
Wow.
So the cool thing about involving the demo scene in UXR is the fact that we are gonna, for example, experiment a lot with not only with visual performance and generative music, but also with new ways to develop procedurally the metaverse by using a demo scene kind of a hacking approach. So a lot of interesting things coming up.
Like, is it? Have you already announced this demo scene event or project already?
No, because we are still deciding the lineup, and also the kind, since it's a little bit of a different event, because we are not gonna just share screens, but we are gonna also work on the very room in which we will be, yeah, and then by refreshing, the room keeps on updating.
Yeah.
We are doing some tests to understand what can break, what cannot break. You know, it has to be arranged very well.
That's
So you have
absolutely
different people, like
fantastic.
2, 3, 4 people acting on the same very cold or the very room where you are at the same moment. You know, there are so many things that will go wrong. So we are pushing a little bit the limits and see how can we make it work.
Wow, that's absolutely futuristic and interesting. I would say that I haven't yet imagined how actually I will meet someone from demo scene and the demo scene as community, but I think it's the best way it could be. Like when I hear in hubs, I can see your avatar, which looks super charismatic with flying Buddha style thing, and you saying me that okay, in a week or so, or in 2 weeks, that will be this event you can join and check. And it's awesome. It's super awesome.
Nice. No, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Also, the people there, they are exactly as enthusiastic and idealistic as the people that you find in the live coding scene. So great people. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, regarding this, even maybe ideology, values, I would really be happy to if you could tell more about this. For example, the decentralization and
nice.
Yeah, and maybe something else like is it? Do you think it could be or should be monetized? Are you planning to make it at some point to, for example, to have a donation model, which I think is absolutely okay.
That could be a possibility. Yeah. So basically, let's start with the point with decentralization.
Yeah.
So, I think that is the most important topic because it's really, we are really living a time where we are at the beginning of the building of a metaverse. So there are many ways that we can go about it. And there's a huge amount of capital that went into the creation of, for example, Sansar by Linden Labs, or Fortnite that is going to become a sort of metaverse.
Yeah.
And so that you can have either a centralized, privatized approach or a decentralized, federated approach. That is the one that Mozilla fosters with the hubs technology.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to, even if I use the Unreal Engine, for example, that gives me much more freedom style-wise and graphic-wise, I decided to totally base my efforts on hubs, especially because of accessibility and the ethics of a federation and the decentralization that are behind it, and open source. So, for example, UXR Zone started 2 years ago, and at the beginning we were running before Hubs Cloud, our own servers, and then at a certain point we decided to contribute with our code to the main branch of Mozilla and to converge there instead of segmenting further the metaverse. I think that it's very, very important at this moment that we all sort of converge on open standards instead of fragmenting and trying to make closed platforms at the moment. And also data.
So are you telling?
And when it comes to monetization, what we are really working hard on at the moment is to create a super circular economy for 3D and XR creators. And we are gonna go about it with a 3D store And when it comes to support, support of the events, we are developing a ticketing system with a 50% revenue to the artist, straight to the artist, so that the artists that stream online can support themselves.
That's great. That's very interesting, and thank you for giving all this info. And just wanted to double check if I understand right. It's really interesting to get this personal story of you, like getting into it, and at this point creating these interesting spaces for different interesting events. But are you saying that you already with Mozilla Hub's platform for 3 years? I thought that they already exist 2 years, no?
Yeah, 2 years ago. About it was end of 2018 when there were the first. I started immediately, yeah. And the first time that I checked the very base of Mozilla Hubs, we came up with the idea of running it on our own servers. So my first step and my first approach to it was to take the code off GitHub and develop the first iteration of the UXR zone. So back in the days, we took the code, we added some extra modules and extra functions that allow you to run it on your own server. And then we started running it on an external server.
I see.
But the time was really too early. I did a lot of demos, so I had several rooms for online classes and in architectural visualization and all sorts of stuff. So they were not all in a particular aesthetic style. I had only a couple of rooms with my style. All the rest was a little bit of photogrammetry, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then I tried to make a service and make money out of it. I discovered that the time was not right, that it was too niche. And also I was not really happy about spending my time not to foster the creation of an open metaverse and not really supporting directly the efforts of the Mozilla Foundation. So that's why I decided to converge everything and just focus on the graphic style that I like, and just use my time in helping to interconnect the very idealistic community of artists and developers that we have. Because this really gives me joy. And what I was doing before, trying to make a commercial platform out of it, I'm gonna leave it to other people that are more motivated by money. I'm more motivated by having an internet that doesn't suck and doesn't track you, for the next generations.
Wow, that's huge. And you also have an experience in Epic, right? You was working in Epic as an Epic company, right?
Yeah. I worked there for a year and a half, and I helped funding and, let's say, structuring the strategy for architectural visualization and interior design. I was working in a branch of Epic that is called the Epic Enterprise, and I was part of the Datasmith team. So basically, we developed the strategy to import assets from 3D Studio Max and all different software inside the Real Engine. I used to create demos and do this kind of stuff.
Great.
So it was really cool.
I know this.
Great company, super technology.
Thing is, we just we made in 2019 we made this hackathon about virtual reality, and we're using Datasmith to transfer from from SketchUp to Unreal Engine quickly enough. It's
super.
Datasmith is a huge thing. So
it was originally developed by the great guy of Mozilla, He's a really great guy. And then it was acquired by Epic, and we kept on developing it and add new features. Now, basically, the code that we had at the beginning totally changed, and it became a really 100% Epic thing. Yeah, really changed the industry.
That's true.
But also, you know, it was really great to take part in this project. But it's also, I'm much more enthusiastic about real full open source instead of open access to source. Because Unreal Engine, it's open access to source. So you can check the code, you can build up on top of it, but eventually you're not the full owner of the whole platform. You know, it's still another company. Whereas what Mozilla is doing with hubs, it's licensing the code on another way that makes it, you know, a better structure for a decentralized and fully free open metaverse, free of tracking and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. And Enea, are you writing some articles maybe regarding all of these topics? Because I can see that user zone, for example, is a space where you can go and visit these spaces, but do you have texts published?
No, actually, no, because as you can see, we are developing very, very fast, you know, and I'm focusing all my time, all my free time into developing this space further. So, yeah, I'm writing code and building 3D.
You sounds like more than just a developer, you know? It's a like philosophical thing, and maybe it could be. I'm not saying it could be more valuable, but still can be valuable. I don't know. It's hard to measure the value of like ideas or specific tools or specific spaces, but I found it's really interesting and valuable. So if you will have a chance, like put those in the texts and publish it, so people could go deeper into it with links and stuff. Like,
okay, well, thank you. And look, if you can help me out on this, I will be super happy. Like, for example, if you could guide me with a couple of questions, then it will be easier for me to put it into a text. Because otherwise it would feel like a manifesto, and I'm not very much into self-referential kind of expression.
So you're not... You don't think that manifesto is a good start?
No, I think that it's a good start, but I'm more a doer than a talker, you know? So now it happens that I'm talking, you know, because it's live, but when I actually get to write things, you know, since especially my motivation and my ideals are pretty, let's say, strong, you know? When I read what I write, I get embarrassed by myself because I sound like Lenin, you know, and I'm like, oh Jesus, you know, this guy, it's impossible, you know, like I cannot read myself, you know, I'm embarrassed about what I think, you know.
Yeah, and the tempo of your
I feel you so much.
Martina, are you? Yeah, and maybe then we should switch on this. Okay, Memo, it was a joke. Where is the sample?
What is the sample? I don't know. This is a joke.
That's great. Works. Okay, Karin, so you're curating the algorithm as a, I don't know, it's a semi-collective, semi-music label. Can you tell more? What is algorithm?
Yeah, Algorithm was a festival that is born in Turin, and it was a real festival in real reality, we can say, and it was based on different languages of contemporary art, because actually I'm not a developer, I'm a curator. And my background is related to big museums as Biennale of Venice or Museum of Contemporary Art in Rivoli in Turin. And at a certain point, I decided to work in a more cross-disciplinary way. And algorithm was putting together different languages like light coding, visuals, video mapping, in a format putting together educational projects as well as exhibitions, interactive installations, and live performances. Then, when Italy went to lockdown at the end of February, I decided to keep on giving high-profile contents to the community that was born around the festival. So we decided to organize a long marathon of live stream performances. And after that, I encountered the work of Enea.
Ist das schon die Party?
Sorry?
Kann es sein, dass das
No,
schon die
it's a
Party ist, Papa?
it's a Foxy Love Foxes says something, and if someone could mute this kid.
Let's mute this kid.
And so when I met Enea, he told me that it was possible to collaborate together. So we started to host the live performance inside the Circle, which is a virtual club. And we have now organized kind of 6 events at the Circle with live performance from really all over the world. And the project kept on developing. And last week we opened a museum, which is really the first museum conceived in the virtual reality. And at the moment, the museum is hosting 4 installations, which are really conceived for the space for the virtual reality. And tonight we have a special performance by one of these artists from Japan. He's waiting for us in the main dome. So if we want to move there, we can attend to the performance and then we can keep on talking.
Yeah, that would be great. I would just want to notice that there is a person who is we're speaking today. It's Matteo. I think I saw one Matteo here, and if it is the person, then I would like to...
Matteo, if you are in the room, come close to us. We don't mind.
Thank you, man. So I then want to introduce you because he's a performer from Berlin and was asking about using the platform to do the online thing for his project. Then, okay, he's writing, so we'll then introduce you.
Papa.
Yeah, and it's a surprise for me. It's a great surprise for me that you are not only a curator of like music, live coding collective, you are a curator of contemporary art with background in Venice Biennale, which is absolutely like it's fantastic.
Can you hear me, guys?
Because it's really tells that.
Can you get
this space, the Hubs platform, is not only about like for example guys from demo scene, which is great, absolutely great. But it's also a platform for different kind of cultural experiments, including exhibitions.
I give you the link to go to the dome.
Super.
Cool, let's go, guys. Memo, can you please?
Follows the ad.
Thank you.
Here I am. Hi.
Hi, Martina. You know you're in the panda avatar?
Welcome to the town.
Okay, I can see people are coming. And maybe... And here is Alexei too. And if Alexei is in the place, then party started, you know? Yeah, and we can see a promo banner here. And here we are in the center of the dome. The space is created by Enea, and there are some interesting things going on here. So currently it's working like an exhibition. So we can see that there are portals to more rooms here.
Let's enjoy the performance.
Okay, so we are waiting for this huge loading cube, which would be video streaming maybe. And it's also a surprise for me because Karine and guys managed special performance for today. I think this is the time I would share the link. Also, if someone is not here yet, we will see how the space will manage this amount of people, because for now it's already 25 people, which I think could be a max. Karine, what is the max for this space?
50 people.
50 people. Oh.
50.
Yeah, well, we need
50 is the magic number.
Karine, can you tell a few words about the performance? Who is performing?
The artist performing is one of the artists that is also hosted here at the exhibition. He's an artist from Japan. So just few information of the museum, how to access to the different work of art.
Yeah.
If you see, we have kept the same metaphor of the museum. So on the wall, you can see the information about each artist. So you have information about the biography and the work itself. If you go with the mouse on the image, it appears a red text with the visit room, so you enter directly with the teletransport in the work of art of the other artist. Okay, because the idea is that here the dome is a space for temporary exhibition, for workshop, and a space for the community. And then there is another building, which is the 24/7 floors, where we were before, which is the permanent collection. So in the permanent collection, you will find for each floor one of the performances that we have hosted until today at the Circle. Okay, so it's the metaphor of the museum, which is divided into temporary space, exhibition, and private collection. So the private collection is a work in progress that we are building together. And one of the artists that is also here is the same that is performing now. He works with visual, both in 3D, and he's playing with another DJ in this case.
So
And this is a
Is it
special
JSON
performance that
or is it Scenarii Sama?
what is
Just
Tina is the artist. Yeah. You can also visit
I can
his
see
installation
Sama. He's
in the
standing
dome.
right there, at the other end of the dome. You can see it below the.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see him. So he's playing live right now in the real reality. And
Yes, yeah, from his house. Yeah, he's streaming live.
From Japan, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. And I saw that he wrote that it's 3:30 something in Japan right now.
Yeah, it's +3 in Japan, yes. Yeah.
That's great, but like we should absolutely applause, like, subscribe to this guy.
Yeah, he has an amazing work.
I can see reactions in the crowd. I can see some applauses there. And we have more people coming together, even although it was not announced for some time, it was announced just today. It's 26 people.
Yeah.
I hope we will get more. And this would be a question for you guys, both of you. Like, there is a room limit in terms of users, right?
Yeah.
It's quite an important thing for hubs right now, and for Metaverse, right?
Yes, yeah. It depends on the people that access and on the media that are hosted.
Yeah, but anyway, you know,
So it's not just about the screens and about the people attending. And this is limiting the capacity.
we
are also streaming on Facebook and on Twitch to give more people the chance to attend somehow.
Yeah, but also the last times when we went through this particular problem, this particular limitation, we solved it by duplicating the room and streaming the main performance for each room and allowing people to hop between different instances of the room. So this is the way we are, you know, getting around the
Nikita, you were
limit.
asking me about the ways curating the hubs.
Yeah, too. And then then it will be also interesting in Enea to come back to this question, because this technical thing about having different instances of the room, it is a like technical representation of Metaverse in a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we will need to come back to this, Karim. But still, I know that there are already some curators maybe in this room or watching the stream, and then I will personally recommend the video to check in this part, especially for some curators. So can you can you add some comments regarding curating in virtual spaces? What does it mean for you? How it works? What minuses, pluses, and stuff?
Yeah, it becomes really a great chance for artistic reaction, both for artists and both for curators, because you have no limits about your idea, the material you can use. There is no problem of budget. You can work from all around the world with no problems of any kind. So you really have the chance to make the experimentation. You can realize maybe what you have always desired to do, but you were limited by space, time, budget. So you can really test. You can push forward the idea of your work. There was one of the artists before, was Franz Rosati. I am trying to see if he's still here, because also his point of view as an artist. I'm just looking for him.
That's fine. Yeah, that would be also interesting. In fact, I think there are some like positive things, aspects we all can see right now, like even like going with this quarantine and having these issues with isolation. We are all here, like 26 people in a room from different countries, which is absolutely great. But and I heard a lot of different pluses about the platform and about the whole idea of presenting art in metaverse. But do you think there are some limitation issues that maybe should be highlighted?
I think there might be technical limitations, but it's something that working with Enea, we find a way to realize the idea of the artist together. I have put in contact the artist with him, so they really could find a way to solve problems and to find even better solutions. Maybe the idea of the artist starts from a point, but then is pushed beyond thanks to talking with Enea. Maybe Enea can say something more about this issue, these concerns about technical stuff.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, it's very interesting, this particular moment, you know, especially working with this technology, because video games that people are accustomed to reach the absolute level of fidelity, yeah? Whereas here, since we are running in the web, inside the browser, there is that, you know, there are several, let's say, technical limitations if you want to be able to stream and get it, make it accessible
and
to
it's also great
smartphones
to have
and
the
all these kind of
chance
things.
to make an archive of all the works that are realized and presented for displays. Because you can really build an history of what you're doing and giving the idea of the curatorial idea that is behind the project. So everything can be seen and seen again. You can access the dome and the 24/7 floors anytime, how many times you want to see the performance again, or visit the works, or staying here to think on your own, wandering in the place.
Yes, and when it comes to the limitations, I think that anyway, you know, since people are so accustomed to high fidelity of graphics, there is a great opportunity to actually work within the limitations, you know? There is just so much that you can do with the, you know, by staying within, I don't know, the 500,000 of polygon, or by having a lo-fi approach to graphics. You know, there are just so many different graphic styles that you can explore, yeah? So in one hand, since before we were, for example, mentioning Epic Games, you know, and Fortnite and kind of stuff, when you have pretty much unlimited technical possibilities, yeah, you will automatically tend to, you know, work with sort of photorealistic or like high resolution cartoon stylistic approach. Whereas when you have like technical limitations that force you to keep your scenes like low bandwidth and pretty tight, you know, you are forced to rethink the way to express yourself graphically. So this is a great opportunity. And also the cool thing is that as we work within those limitations, the different limitations are being removed because the WebXR standard is proceeding very fast. Hubs does have a very active community of developers. More and more people are starting to use the platform. we are contributing to the code with all our might. And yeah, so the technical limitations will be ironed in the next months. And it's anyway super cool to work within them.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, there is a interesting video of Lars von Trier, the movie that called Five Obstructions about limitation of different kinds, and they given each other like limits for creating a movie, and sometimes it's like duration of one shot, for example. And I can see Martina saying that it corresponds to her also. I would just love to recommend this film to add to this discussion about limitations. You know what, Scenery-sama, can you please just come in to the circle? I know you don't have a mic or some other issues and you can hear us. I just wanted to give a round of applause if it's possible here, guys. If you can do the reaction, just click on a space bar and choose a reaction you want to give a feedback to Scenery-sama, because yeah, he's in Japan, like it's 4 a.m. for this person, like, yeah, that's cool. I can see Scenery-sama also can see it and with us. Thank you, man. It's absolutely great. And
Bravo. No, he's really great. And also his installation that is currently in exhibition here at the Dome, it's really mind-blowing.
Which one is it?
It's called The Truth of the Universe. And it works around the toroid form of the universe.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I don't know where I can point on it for everyone, and then I can show how one interesting feature works here in Mozilla Hubs. So in Mozilla Hubs, for example, you can add a 3D model in a space, for example, like an arrow, and by holding it, you can also make it bigger, you can rotate it, and you can, for example, point it to somewhere, and you can make it. No, it's hard to. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So there it is, the Scenery-sama space. And if you want to go there, please go ahead and check out, and then come back, because I don't know, Enea, Karen, will we have the video here, or the performance is finished for now, and we just have
yeah, you can visit the exhibition. You just go to the visit room and you are teletransported inside the installation.
Great.
Yes. And then we are going to have another performance.
Okay, so here there will be more. There will be a video too, right, with music and live coding.
Yeah.
Okay, so and it will it be a streaming,
actually,
or
it's
it will be a
coming now.
recording?
It should be a streaming.
Okay.
And I'm chatting with the artist now in order to see, when he gets his OBS to function.
Yeah, cool. So I know that there are a lot of people in the room right now that wants to speak with you, or maybe to each other. So let's maybe finish this official part and go do drinking stuff. I'm drinking wine right now in real life, and
nice.
yeah, and guys, join the space, join the music, check out Hubs as a platform, go dig in the Metaverse, and go follow the Enea and Karine and Martina also, and let's also do some reactions about the uh, the info and the experience they shared with us. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Nikita.
And special thanks to Memo. Memo, can you do a 7th chord, please?
Namo, thank you.